Hello guys, in today's video I'm going to answer to a comment, to a question a follower from TikTok asked me, and it said, "Hey CJ, do you know how every time any other coach, and you included, ask us, how would I feel, how would we feel if we had our manifestations?" And they said that, to be honest, if I would have had my manifestations, then I wouldn't have this kind of circumstances that I currently have in my 3D. So I wouldn't have the circumstances, I wouldn't have this kind of bridge of incidents, I wouldn't actually have my reality going this way if I really had it. And here is where my teachings come in and tell you that, well, you're not supposed to be influenced, you're not supposed to take your cues from your 3D, okay? Because you focusing on your 3D to tell you what you feel, it's the wrong way. So we should go on the other way. We should go in reverse. We should decide what we want, and then 3D will reflect, because this is actually what's happening. So the 3D was never there to impose a certain state upon you. It was never there to impose a certain circumstance. So now, how would you feel if you had it? And this is the best question we as coaches can ask you, because you would get the answer. So first of all, when you would deal with negative circumstances, so-called negative circumstances, if you knew you had it, it translates like, look, so when we say, how would you feel if you had it? It's basically a question, how would you feel? How would you think, knowing that this is possible for you, knowing that you can have it, knowing that you are allowed to have it, knowing that it's perfectly possible for you to have it? So first of all, if you knew you're going to have it, if you knew you are able to get it, then first of all, you wouldn't actually doubt it. You wouldn't look in your 3D and say, hey, this is against me, it's telling me I cannot have it. No, you wouldn't care, because you would feel safe. You wouldn't feel threatened by any kind of circumstance. You wouldn't feel threatened by any kind of thought. So we ask this question so that it takes you, that it shifts you into a mindset that says, how would I feel when I had it? How would I feel if I had it? Well, I would feel safe. I would feel secure. I would feel confident. I would feel okay. I wouldn't fear. I wouldn't feel the need to check my 3D. I wouldn't care. Basically, I wouldn't care. There wouldn't be no more fucks given. So how would I feel if I knew that I could get my specific person to love me? How would I feel if I knew that my specific person adores me? Well, first of all, if I knew my specific person adores me, none of what happened yesterday would matter. None of what happened an hour ago would matter, because I know she loves me, okay? I know he loves me. So how would I feel if I knew that I'm a multimillionaire? Or how would I feel like if I knew that I am going to be a multimillionaire? Because look, guys, trying so hard to speak in grammar terms, like you cannot affirm in future tense, you only have to affirm in the present tense because God is, yes, okay. But sometimes when you have a lot of resistance and you feel like you're trying to force against the resistance that you have, would it be safer to say, I will have it? Because to be honest, your whole life you've manifested by saying, I will have it, okay? And I'm bringing this theme up. I know I've talked about it in so many other videos, but I think it's kind of important that I bring some things up again and again. Maybe it clicks different from you this time. I don't know, okay? So if you encounter a hell lot of resistance, what is resistance? I don't like to talk about resistance, but resistance appears when you focus too much for too long on a certain object outside of you, and you're trying to bring it into your reality, therefore creating the false illusion that that thing out there, that specific person out there, it's out there and I have to bring it into my reality. And that's why resistance comes in. Basically, resistance is you falling to the illusion that there is something out there to get, when actually there's nothing to get. You already have everything that is in your 3D reality. You just need to activate it. And how do you activate it? Well, in moments of crisis, in moments of panic, you take a step back and you ask yourself, hey, just take a second, okay? I see the circumstance out there. I don't like it. It's threatening. I feel scared. I feel that circumstance out there tells me that I'm not going to get my shit, okay? So in order for you to shift from the mentality that I observed that circumstance and I gave it a conclusion, I assume it says that I'm not going to get my shit, then what am I going to do? I'm going to redirect myself. I'm going to redirect my focus to how would I feel like if they did indeed love me? How would I feel? Well, first of all, I wouldn't assume the circumstances against me because look, every circumstance is neutral. Now, coming to every circumstance is neutral and you give it a meaning based on the state you are in. And what if you gave it the wrong meaning? What if you were a victim? Well, every moment is new. So even if you gave it a wrong meaning yesterday, you can still revise it, which means you can give it a new meaning right now. That's the whole difference. You can decide that, hey, it doesn't matter. Okay. My bad. It doesn't matter. Maybe I misunderstood the circumstance. You should act in your manifestation journey the same way you act in your 3D life, right? So you've been in the habit of reacting and to a circumstance. So let's just say, for example, a friend tells you, yes, because many of you forget and you think that specific person, a romantic interest into a specific person is different than manifesting just to friends. Guys, they are just friends with benefits. It's pretty much the same relationship you have with a friend, except for the fact that you are loving and you're making love and you're making sex or whatever, and you're kissing. But it has the same core. So many of you that believe that the relationship with a specific person is totally way different and way more special than a relationship with a friend are very wrong. So now to our subject. Let's just say, for example, a friend of yours tells you something and you interpret it, you read it from your victim mindset. Let's just say they say, I cannot hang out today. And while they are still typing the reason for why they can hang out, you draw the conclusion that they don't want you. I'm not wanted. I'm not loved. They're only friends when they need me. They only call me when they need me. My needs don't matter, etc., etc. So you do this whole picture. You create this whole scenario that stems from your victim mindset, which doesn't think that it's loved, chosen, and adored. And while they are typing, I had an accident. And you can say, oh, my bad. I misunderstood the reason for why you didn't want to hang out with me. Because many of you, when you see a circumstance, you are quick to judge and you're quick to draw conclusions. And this is the best way to understand in which state you are, because your reactions and your conclusions stem from the mindset that you're currently in. It doesn't mean that you cannot redirect yourself and say, oh, okay, my bad. I misinterpreted this circumstance. So now back to our question. How would I feel if I knew I had it? Basically, I wouldn't have the circumstances in my life. Well, look, creation is already finished. Okay. I know we are all gods. I know, and I teach you, but because creation is already finished, you might feel that you're intermingling in all your life with some kind of scenarios. So what do? You remind yourself you're in control. You remind yourself you're in charge. You don't start judging the 3D out there, and you start saying, oh, it's against me again. Because circumstances are neutral. Even you acknowledging the fact that the circumstances are bad, it shows you in which state you are. So if you had it, you wouldn't think that the circumstance is bad. If you had it, and if you knew that you're going to have it, then it wouldn't matter what they say. It wouldn't matter what they do, because inevitably you're going to have it, right? I'm going to do a next video. Some subscriber asked how to put myself on a pedestal. And this is a very good question. I like this question. I'm going to do a video about it. Until next time, I love you guys. Always think from how would I feel if I knew I had it? Well, first of all, I wouldn't give a fuck. I would live my best life knowing I have it. I love you guys. Bye-bye.